Live from Gov Fuller Field alongside Brad Klein, I'm Will Connerly, and the YD Red Sox traveling here to Falmouth to take on the Commodores. YD 11-9-6, third in the East, and Falmouth 9-13-2. They sit in fourth place in the West Division. YD coming off a lopsided 11-1 loss, the second most runs they've allowed all season after not losing in their prior four games, while Falmouth is coming off a win over Cape's best team, Bourne, 4-2 win, and they previously had a 5-game losing streak before they topped the Braves. Brad, exciting contest today, and YD ramping up for a couple big ones after today. Just 11 games left in the season as they push for that playoff spot, the top two in the East.
And that's exactly how it feels, right? It feels like a playoff push with the way they've reconstructed the roster from basically the ground up, losing Brooks Lee and then getting him back and getting Dominic Keegan when a lot of people didn't think he'd come. This is a new team, and it's time for a new push.
A new team, a new push, and an arm on the mound in Mikey Tepper out of Mississippi State. He's on the mound, and the longest he has gone at Mississippi State, the team that won the national title, just 2 innings. But in his first start with Falmouth, he went 3 innings. And for him tonight, somebody who has a pretty good fastball, and he's going to face an order that goes like this: Chase Luttrell, Brooks Lee, Dominic Keegan, Cody Huff, Tanner Smith, Wyatt Hoffman, Drew Bowser, Zach Lew, and Bradley Knight. So after Chase Luttrell led off the first 2 games of the season, he's back atop the order. What do you like about YD's lineup? Who's somebody to watch out for today?
Well, in a way, it is a playoff push, but it's also a way for Scott Pickler to reinvent the wheel a little bit and see what works the best for the playoffs. This could be what we see in the postseason if YD gets there. And at the end of the day, we talk so much about Wyatt Hoffman hitting with runners on base. You had to hit him in the 6-hole where he's slated today. You need his bat in a valuable spot, and you can't waste Wyatt Hoffman's singles. So see if Chase Luttrell can get on base for you and set the table for probably the best 2-3 duo in the game.
And that duo of Brooks Lee and Dominic Keegan, what makes those two just so good together?
Well, it's what makes them so great individually, and then what makes them so great together. I mean, individually, they're great players, and together, you're backing each other up. Dominic Keegan forcing the opposing pitcher to pitch to Brooks Lee and give him something to hit.
So Chase Luttrell will lead things off for YD, playing right field today. Led off the first 2 games of the season, now back atop the order. He leads the team with 10 runs driven in, tied with Tanner Smith. And he's facing Mikey Tepper, a freshman out of Mississippi State, 6'2", 220. Out of South Carolina, where he was regarded as the top pitcher from the state coming out of high school, but when the draft was dwindled down to 5 rounds, he took his talents to MSU as Chase Luttrell fouls the first offering back, 0-1 in the count. The fastball was 92 miles per hour from Tepper. He sits 92-94, tops out at 95, mixes in a curveball at 80-82 with late dump, and has a firm changeup in the mid-80s as well, as the fastball misses high to Chase Luttrell. A ball and a strike. Here at Gov Fuller Field, YD first time in action here at Falmouth, as the first originally scheduled contest was rained out earlier this season at Falmouth. The pitch misses low and outside to Luttrell. 2 balls and a strike. Cody Colden at third, Casey Hartford at short, Michael Curiali at second, and Chris Armstrong at first base with Anthony Hall, Luke Boyers, and Jace Borfin patrolling the outfield. As the pitch misses upstairs, now 3 balls and a strike. And Taylor Smith, the battery mate, behind the plate with Mikey Tepper. 3 balls and a strike here to Chase Luttrell, leading off the top of the first. Tepper out of the line, misses outside, and issues a free pass to Chase Luttrell. So he gets a word, no, it's called a strike. Chase Luttrell thought it was ball 4, but a late call from home plate umpire Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson behind the plate. Mickey Garcia at first base and Tom Reinberg over at the second base. Those are the umpires today for this contest. So the count runs full after Chase Luttrell thought he had himself a free pass. Tepper gets the signs, kicks out of the wind in the payoff pitch. Fouled away. Chase Luttrell out of Long Beach State. The most recent outing for Tepper, he went 3 innings, 1 run, but it wasn't earned. 1 strikeout, 2 walks, and that was at Brewster. Brewster sits atop the East Division while Bourne is first in the West. And the full count pitch. Fouled away once again from Luttrell. So putting together a solid at-bat here. As coming up on the 7th pitch of the at-bat, rather 8th pitch of the at-bat here to Chase Luttrell, swinging it from the left side. The full count pitch again as it's fouled away. So Chase Luttrell putting together, regardless of the outcome of this at-bat, a quality at-bat, making the right-hander now going to throw his 9th pitch of this duel between YD's leadoff hitter Chase Luttrell. Tepper getting the signs from Taylor Smith. Out of the wind and the 3-2 pitch. Misses outside, and Chase Luttrell does indeed get aboard via the free pass. So a leadoff walk after a 9-pitch battle with Chase Luttrell. It's won by YD, and Luttrell gets the free pass. And now Brooks Lee comes back up to the plate. The switch hitting shortstop out of Cal Poly. Had 2 hits in his first game back after he went to play for Team USA here in his 10th game, or 11th game rather, with YD this summer, but through 10 games has hit .410 with 3 home runs. As the pitch gets behind Taylor Smith, misses well outside from the right-hander Tepper, and Chase Luttrell easily going to motor into second base. Luttrell takes second, and Brooks Lee at the plate with Luttrell in scoring position now. Reaches on the free pass, and then the pitch gets away from Taylor Smith, misses outside from the big right-hander. 1 ball, no strikes, and Luttrell on second after the leadoff walk. Tepper comes set with Luttrell at second. The pitch to Brooks Lee, grounded to the right side. Curiali coming up on it at second, throws it over to first to Armstrong, and Lee is retired, but Chase Luttrell advances over to third base. So Brooks Lee able to put it in play and move the runner-up in the form of Chase Luttrell. And now Dominic Keegan hits in the top of the first. No score, but Chase Luttrell on third base with 1 out. So Lee doing a good job of putting the ball on the ground on the right side to at least advance the runner. And YD in a position for Dominic Keegan to drive in a run. And the first pitch taken low and inside. Keegan has had a great start here with YD after coming from Vanderbilt, where he had a successful season. He's 8 for his first 19 with the Red Sox, and the breaking ball is called for strike 1. A ball and a strike with 1 out. Luttrell at third. But Keegan hitting .421 through 5 games with the Red Sox with 3 home runs. Had 15 at Vanderbilt this past season. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, and now a ball and 2 strikes as the right-hander Tepper went upstairs with 94 miles per hour. Keegan was the NCAA Regional Most Outstanding Player in that Nashville Regional. Turned it on toward the end of the season and has picked it up and kept that momentum going here on Cape. As the pitch, it misses inside the breaking ball. That curveball mixed in with late dump, but didn't dump into the strike zone, and 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Chase Luttrell on third base as Cody Huff waits on deck. And the 2-2 pitch. Keegan fights it off, foul left side on the ground. And Keegan in a situation where if he can put something deep enough in the air, it's an opportunity for Chase Luttrell to tag and come home with no score in the top of the first. YD has 10 sacrifice flies on the season, which is second best in the league. As Tepper out of the wind and the 2-2 pitch to Keegan. Upstairs, and they say that Keegan did go around, and that was called from Brandon Johnson, the home plate umpire. No appeal needed, and he says Keegan went around on the swing and goes down on the strikeout. And now Coach Pickler has a word to say to home plate umpire Brandon Johnson, saying that Dominic Keegan indeed did not go around, but that was the call from the home plate umpire. After the fastball on the 2-2 pitch, Keegan with the check swing, but said he did go around. And so now Pickler having a conversation with Brandon Johnson, the home plate umpire, about it. Falmouth. So they do record the strikeout after Pickler has his conversation with Brandon Johnson. There's 2 outs with Chase Luttrell on third base. And Cody Huff to the plate. With 2 away, Luttrell at third, top of the first, no score. Cody Huff playing first base today. Rotates with Keegan, who just struck out behind the plate. And first pitch misses inside and low. 1 ball, no strikes. Huff hitting .215. 7 runs driven in, and last time YD played the Commodores. And that only contest, YD won 5-4, and Cody Huff had 2 hits in that game. The 1-0. Bounces low, blocked by the chest protector of Taylor Smith, and now there's 2 balls and no strikes. As Cody Huff, with 7 runs driven in on the year, trying to drive in another with Chase Luttrell on third base, top of the first. And the 2-0 pitch. Misses high, 3 balls and no strikes. So the inning started with Chase Luttrell reaching on a free pass after a 9-pitch at-bat. Brooks Lee grounded out to the right side, which advanced Luttrell to third base. And then Keegan struck out. And Cody Huff hitting 3 balls, no strikes, the pitch. Up and in, and a 4-pitch walk issued to Cody Huff. And now runners on the corners with 2 outs for Tanner Smith. YD's left fielder.
From the University of Oregon, number 29, Tanner Smith.
So Tanner Smith swinging it from the left side, hitting .237 on the season. And he's tied for the team lead in runs driven in with 10. Tied with the man on third base, Chase Luttrell, for the most on the team. So Cody Huff on first, Chase Luttrell on third, both runners reaching on a free pass. And that was the 3rd walk of the year for Tepper in 4 2/3 after issuing 2 free passes in this inning. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs, no score, top of the first. Runners on the corners, and Tepper comes set. Delivers the pitch to Tanner Smith, swinging on it, pops it up left side on the infield. Cody Colden, the third baseman, handles it, and that is the 3rd out. So no runs, no hits, but 2 stranded for YD in the top of the first. And we kick it over to the bottom frame of the first here from Gov Fuller Field on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. No score, bottom of the first, and YD's Jared Lyons on the mound. Rising senior at George Mason. hometown of Springfield, Virginia, 6'2", 208. Has made one prior appearance for YD, which came in relief of Nolan McCarthy, who recorded only 2 outs and surrendered 4 runs. But Lyons, no stranger to towing the rubber at the beginning of games. He was a starter at George Mason as his first pitch misses outside to Douglas Hodo, the designated hitter. Hitting 179 through 9 games out of Texas. Went 0 for 2 last game against Bourne as he fouls it away to the left side. Lyons was 6-2 with a 3.73 ERA in 12 starts at George Mason. Was first team all A10 after leading the team in innings, strikeouts, and ERA as that breaking ball misses high from the right-hander Lyons. 2 balls and a strike to Hodo, who hit 147 in 16 games at Texas in his freshman campaign. But in his second-year freshman season this past year, hit 281 with 9 doubles, 5 home runs, and 1 triple, with 44 runs driven in 64 games atop Falmouth's order. As Lyons misses high, now 3-1. Lyons out of the 1. The 3-1 pitch hit hard left side, and it is pulled foul. It had a ton of distance, but well foul as he yanks it to the left side out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Hodo, leading off the bottom of the first for Falmouth. Hodo does have 6 career home runs at Texas, but hitting 179 this summer. The 3-2 breaking ball misses low. Hodo reaches with a free pass, and he's aboard on first base. That brings up Casey Harford, shortstop for Falmouth. He's 4 for 16, hitting 250 on the season, just playing in his 5th game of the summer. Lyons now going to try to work around the leadoff walk. That's exactly what Tepper had to do in the top frame of the first inning. Actually worked around 2 free passes in that inning, and stranded YD's runners on the corners last half inning. Hodo has reached base in 5 of the last 6 games for Texas prior to coming to Falmouth, when he hit 281, and he drew 32 free passes during the season on 221 at-bats. Well, he has a free pass, and he's on first now. And Casey Harford in a favorable count. 2 balls, no strikes as Lyons come set. The 2-0 offering to Harford in there for strike 1 on the outside corner of fastball. And Lyons had a 10.26 ERA before this past year. Really turned it on and had a breakout season at George Mason. His fastball can get up to 94, 95 miles per hour. Has a solid curveball, and when he can work that fastball-curveball combination, can really get hitters off balance. Also can throw a slider and show a changeup too. This is the fastball's fouled away. But now 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Casey Harford, the shortstop for Falmouth, who's 9-13-2, currently in 4th place in the West Division. But they broke out of a 5-game losing streak after beating Bourne last game. YD and Falmouth had a great game the last time the 2 teams met. Wyatt Hoffman hit a go-ahead 3-run home run in the bottom of the 7th to take the lead at Red Wilson Field, and they ended up prevailing by 1 run in that game. A swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch from the right-hander Lyons, and he makes work of Harford getting the strikeout. Had 4 strikeouts and 4 1/3 in his first appearance on Cape. But now starting in the rotation, and maybe he can be a regular fixture in the rotation as YD is searching for answers in their rotation and among their pitching staff. Jace Borfin, speaking of answers, he's been a big one this year for Falmouth. Their leading hitter, hitting .301 on the summer, 5 home runs, 6 doubles so far on the summer, with 6 stolen bases as well. His .301 mark is 7th best across the league as Borfin is hitting here in the bottom of the first, no score, and one runner aboard with one out. Lions come set and delivers the first offering to Borfin, misses up and outside. Dominic Keegan, the catcher, pops up. Lions, the battery made of Dominic Keegan behind the plate with Zach Liu at third base, Brooks Lee at short, Wyatt Hoffman at second, and Cody Huff over at first. Tanner Smith, Briley Knight, and Chase Luttrell in the outfield. For head coach Scott Pickler of the YD Red Sox, the 1-0 pitch in there for strike one from Lions. Hard fastball that Borfin took, a ball and a strike. Chris Armstrong on deck. Borfin with 5 home runs, Armstrong with 4, but Falmouth across the lineup can put the ball out of the ballpark at a high level. 24 home runs, tied for most in the league, the Commodores. As that ball's fouled away, left side out of play by Borfin. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Borfin with 17 RBIs, which is tied for 4th in the league. Does it all for Falmouth. The pitch upstairs, outside on the breaking ball, count evens. Here with 1 out, 1 runner aboard in the bottom of the first, no score. Jace Borfin, he was at Oklahoma after being rated the number 3 player in the state of Oklahoma. Took his talents to be a Sooner, but now committing to Arkansas. He announced that he would continue his career at Arkansas for the Razorbacks, and after just spending 1 year for the Sooners, transferring to one of the top programs in the country, Arkansas, who was ranked number 1 in the nation for most of this past season. Lions come set, the 2-2 pitch, but then time is called and then granted from home plate umpire Brandon Johnson from Jace Borfin. But it was after Douglas Hodo who reached on the leadoff walk. He was in motion on the 2-2 pitch, then had to go back after time was granted. So Lions work into Falmouth's right fielder Jace Borfin. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. Lions come set, kicks and delivers the pitch, a swing and a miss, and back-to-back strikeouts from Jared Lyons, and there's 2 away in the bottom of the first. That brings up Chris Armstrong, first baseman for Falmouth. Switch hitter, has 4 homers on the summer, hitting .277. And Armstrong, he used to be a two-way player. A 7.71 ERA in 11 2/3 pitched in 2019 at Florida. But Armstrong with 4 home runs, 2 doubles this summer. The switch hitter hits much better from the left side as well, where he's swinging now, facing off against the George Mason right-hander with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Hitting .277 on the season, but he hits .300 as a left-handed hitter and .255 from the right side. First pitch swinging and fouls it away. So both pitchers in this game trying to work around leadoff walks issued in the first. Mikey Tepper was able to do so, and now Jared Lyons 1 out away from doing the same. No balls and a strike, 2 outs. Soto at first. Here in the bottom of the first, fouled away, and now 0-2 the count. With 2 outs, no score, bottom of the first. Hodo is on first base, and Armstrong at the plate, the first baseman for Falmouth. Lions come set. And the 0-2. Popped up on the infield. Going back on it is Brooks Lee. Just on the outfield grass, and he's able to glove it and make the play. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and just 1 runner left on base. Lions surrenders a leadoff walk and then retires 3 in a row, including 2 strikeouts to end the bottom of the first. And after 1, no score here from Gov Fuller Field on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
from the University of
Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Wyatt Hoffman, Drew Bowser, and Zach Liu scheduled to hit for YD, top of the second, no score. Hoffman hitting .277 on the season. First pitch up and in from Tepper. But Hoffman, he hits .209 on the road compared to a .350 mark at home. He really is a good hitter at Red Wilson Field, and overall was recently selected to the All-Star team as he puts a jolt into this one. Over left side, under it is Boyers as it's skied out to center field, and Wyatt Hoffman is retired. And speaking of Wyatt Hoffman hitting just a .158 over his past 5 games, he's slowed down a little bit after the average being well over 300 for some time. But in a little bit of a slump now that has dropped the batting average. Was hitting just .250 as a leadoff hitter, and that was not a small sample size. He stayed atop the lineup for Coach Pickler for a long stretch after they moved Peyton Graham down, but now Chase Luttrell leading off, and Drew Bowser at the plate. The 0-1 pitch misses high and outside, a ball and a strike. But Hoffman retired. Struggles a little bit on the road compared to at home, and Drew Bowser hitting .175 on the season. And the pitch misses low to the designated hitter. 2 balls and a strike here with 1 out. In the top of the second, YD did have their fair share of all-star selections, and Hoffman was one of those names. The 2-1 to Drew Bowser, fouls it away and falls down in the batter's box, trying to put a jolt into that baseball. The Stanford Cardinal playing not in the field today. He's the designated hitter, but the thing about Bowser, he did have a slow start to the season, but he's turned it on more as of late. After his 0-for-16 start, hitting .175 now, but he's put together better at bats as of late as well. Has 7 walks, which is most on the roster that's active right now, with Peyton Graham out as the ball's grounded to third base across the diamond to first. Drew Bowser is retired, and now there's 2 quick outs here in the top of the second as Zach Liu hits with 2 gone and nobody on in the top of the second with no score. As Mikey Tepper, who surrendered 2 base runners in the first, has recorded 2 consecutive outs here in the second and has retired 3 in a row after getting Tanner Smith to pop up to end the first. First pitch high to Zach Liu. Tepper now has thrown 31 pitches and has recorded 5 outs, working in the top of the second with 2 away. The 1-0 to Zach Liu, fouled away. Right side, out of play. A ball and a strike. On deck is Briley Knight, and then after that, Chase Luttrell, YD's leadoff hitter, in the hole. No Crew Robinson in the lineup today. Breaking ball. Called strike on Zach Liu. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Zach Liu is hitting .156 on the season. The 1-2 pitch from Tepper, breaking ball that misses low and outside. Tepper, a part of the national championship team at Mississippi State, making his 3rd appearance of the summer, but 2nd start. But you wonder how long he can go on the bump for Falmouth based on historical data, as Liu grounds it right side over to first. Tag is applied by Christopher Armstrong, but then ball gets away, and Zach Liu will get on first. Looked like an easy ground ball over to Curielli at second. It was. Made the throw over to first to Armstrong, but he went up the line, tried to apply the tag, and initially looked like he was called out by first base umpire Mickey Garcia. However, the ball was dislodged from the glove, and then thereafter, Zach Liu was able to get on first base, and he reaches aboard safely after the ball was jarred loose from the first baseman of Chris Armstrong. That brings up Briley Knight as the inning extends, and Briley Knight drives this one. Right side on the first pitch, back up is Jace Borfin, and he's able to make the play to retire the side. So a quick inning for Tepper, no runs. And Briley Knight stranded on first base. In the middle of the second, no score on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. No score as we've arrived in the bottom of the second.
The catcher from Texas A&M,
Jared
number
Lyons,
14,
the right-hander on the mound for YD. And he'll face Taylor Smith, Anthony Hall, and Michael Curiali. Here, the hitters due up in the bottom of the second for Falmouth. Here at Gov Fuller Field, no score, as Jared Lyons surrendered a leadoff walk in the first, but then struck out two hitters and got a pop-up to end the first. And now on the mound for his second inning of work against Taylor Smith. From A&M, 196 average and 3 home runs on the summer, and takes the first offering for strike one from the right-hander Jared Lyons. Out of George Mason, where he was a first-team All-Atlantic 10 performer, and the 0-1 pitch misses low and outside for ball one. A ball and a strike here for YD. Taylor Smith hit a home run in the last meeting with YD. Despite the 5-4 game, and this ball hit well to left field. It's back at the wall, and it's another home run for Taylor Smith against the YD Red Sox. A 1-0 lead for Falmouth as Taylor Smith hits a home run to left center field in the bottom of the second. It's a 1-0 lead for Falmouth. Just speaking of the devil, Taylor Smith went yard last time against YD, does the same here in his first at-bat, which comes to lead off the bottom of the second. His 4th home run of the summer and a league-leading 25th home run for the Commodores as a team, who's hitting .214 as a team, which is the 3rd worst in the league. They score 5 runs per game, but they let up 4.36, and that ERA is 6th in the league. But a 1-0 lead for Falmouth now as Anthony Hall comes to the plate, the outfielder out of Oregon. Both left fielders today from Oregon, Tanner Smith and Anthony Hall. For YD and Falmouth, as Anthony Hall, the left fielder, who's swinging it from the left side. 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch from Lyons. Breaking ball chopped foul as Anthony Hall was ahead of it. One ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch from Lyons. Swing and a miss, and Lyons goes to the breaking ball in the dirt. It was Hall who was chasing, and there's 1 out in the bottom of the second. Michael Curiali now comes to hit.
number 6, Michael
The UCLA middle infielder. 2 home runs on the summer, hitting .192. 30 strikeouts and 70 at-bats so far this summer. And the first pitch to the right-handed hitting second baseman from Lyons misses low. 1 ball and no strikes. That was just the 5th home run allowed by Jared Lyons in 116 1/3 innings pitched as an NCAA pitcher. combining his innings from George Mason and with YD thus far on the summer. A ball and a strike with 1 out. No runners aboard, but a 1-0 lead for Falmouth. Breaking ball in there for strike 2. And the 1-2 pitch to Michael Curiali. It's Lyons who tries to go low to the breaking ball again when he got Anthony Hall fishing, but Michael Curiali doesn't offer at that pitch, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Lyons out of the wind, the pitch. Fouled away as Curiali stays alive. Cody Colden is next for Falmouth. The Commodores playing against YD. Was scheduled to be the second appearance here for YD, but the first appearance rained out, and that's been a story for Falmouth this season as the ball's fouled back off of Curiali as he goes down in the box and stays alive once again, fighting off the foul ball. But Falmouth has been rained out 4 times this season, the most in the league, and with rainouts not being rescheduled, they've played the least amount of games in the league, and we just did hear some thunder. Speaking of rain and potential delays, as another foul ball back to the screen by Curiali, putting together a solid at bat here against Jared Lyons. The pitch to Curiali is called for strike 3. Curiali is rung up. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jared Lyons, his 4th recorded punch-out today. And that brings up Cody Colden, the third baseman. Out of Washington State, 2 home runs, hitting 129 so far this summer. And Jared Lyons, the rising senior at George Mason. It's his normal role. In fact, Lyons came out of the pen in 2019 as a sophomore at George Mason, but other than that, typically gets on the bump in 2021, had 12 starts with 72 1/3 pitched and just 2 home runs allowed, but surrenders a home run here to lead off the bottom of the second as the ball's popped up near side. Zach Liu toward YD's dugout, and he catches it on the dirt right in front of the dugout. Ranges over from third base to make the play and end the frame. 1 run on 1 hit. It was a solo shot from Taylor Smith. Nobody left on. And after 2, it's a 1-0 lead for Falmouth on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, and it's the top of the third, a 1-0 lead, and the beautiful pipes of Brad Klein going to tell you about the middle innings.
Oh, shucks. Well, here we go. Top of the third inning, and YD down 1-0. Chase Luttrell leading off the top of the third inning. By design, he's leading off for the 3rd time in his young YD career. The left-handed hitter from Long Beach State, and Mikey Tepper, the righty, deals. Breaking ball low and inside to Luttrell for ball one. Luttrell drew a 9-pitch walk to start this game and got a lot of applause, oohs and ahs, from his fellow Red Sox in the dugout to his left. And a fastball tails outside, 2 balls, no strikes, 91-mile-an-hour miss for Tepper. Ended up walking 2 Red Sox in that first inning. And from the windup, the Bulldog deals, and Luttrell tattoos that one deep right field. Borfin going back on the track. He saunters under it to make the catch 5 feet in front of the wall for a screeching out number 1. Well, Chase Luttrell hit his fair share of dingers at Long Beach State. Just got under that one. Hit of the mile high, is yet to hit a home run as a YD Red Sox. So 1 away. Enter Brooks Lee, who already has 3 home runs in his own right. Tied for the team lead with 3 dingers, with Dominic Keegan hitting in the on-deck circle right now. Grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up in the first inning, and a first-pitch fastball delivered for strike 1. So the story right now is not what's happening on the field, but what's happening above the field. Dark clouds going from left to right, and ominous clouds creeping over the infield at the Gov, and now an 0-2 count to the Cal Poly switch hitter Brooks Lee as he slices it foul down the first base line. 1 out, no one on, an 0-2 hole for Lee. So we'll see a 90% chance of rain in the forecast coming our way in about 10-15 minutes. See how many innings we get in here. The 0-2 to Lee is smacked to deep right field, slicing foul, and Lee knew it. Now Brooks Lee only got 5 feet away from the batter's box before he retreated back, picked up his lumber, and tried to start his routine again, but that one had a lot of home run distance and then some. It hit the Falmouth Clippers sign, which is about 20 feet off of the right field foul pole. Still 0-2, 1 out, no one on. Mikey Tepper in the high Sox delivers a high fastball for ball 1. And the 1-2 to Lee. Poked to the left side and caught by the shortstop Casey Harford right to his letters for the second out. So Brooks Lee got every seam of that baseball just like he did that foul ball that's still trying to land. And a heat-seeking missile right to Harford for the second out. Here's Dominic Keegan playing in his 6th game of the season. Struck out swinging his first time up, but some would argue it wasn't really swinging. The home plate umpire, Brandon Johnson, made a call of his own, and a check swing, and Keegan went around. Scott Pickler, the head coach for YD, the manager, had a few choice words for Johnson. 1 ball, no strikes on the pitch that misses low, and Keegan definitely went around, waved at the changeup for strike 1. Two and 1 on the slider that tails outside. Well, Dominic Keegan has a 4-game multi-hit streak, and that's the second time he's done that as an NCAA player. Pops it foul a mile high out of play to the basketball courts down the first baseline. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Keegan. With 2 outs and no one on, YD down 1-0 from the Gov in Falmouth, the first time that the Red Sox are playing the Commodores on the road. And Keegan chops it to the left side, backhand play Harford. On the run, the throw is in time on a bounce. What a play from the shortstop, Casey Harford. A half-strength throw is just enough to get Dominic Keegan side retired. In the middle of the third, it's 1-0 Commodores right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Still 1-0 Falmouth on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Brad Klein with you from the Gov. And Jared Lyons, the righty from George Mason, still on the bump for YD, making his third inning of work go here against the 9-hitter Luke Boyers, the center fielder from TCU. And Boyers, the lefty, watches the fastball low for ball one. Boyers coming off a 1-for-3 performance against Bourne just before the off day. And he swings way in front of the changeup, count even at 1-1. And as soon as that changeup hit the leather of Dominic Keegan, the catcher behind the plate, he threw it right back at Lyons, the leather that is, just to reassure him that's exactly what he wanted out of the changeup. Deja vu, exact same thing, changeup, Lyons, or rather Boyers in front of it, and Keegan reassures Lyons that's exactly what YD is looking for. And for Jared Lyons stepping into the starting rotation, a big deal. As the fastball misses low, it gets under the leather of Dominic Keegan that time. 2 balls and 2 strikes with no one on and no one out. And Luke Boyers, the Big 12 all-rookie teamer. Breaking ball misses high just above the letters. The first time that Lyons goes to the breaking ball in the third inning. Haven't seen him have to do it that much. The changeup's been that good. From the windup, the payoff pitch. Chopped off the ankle of Boyers. So we'll do it again. But Jared Lyons, if he could step into the rotation for YD as a full-time starter, that's a big deal. The Red Sox losing Nick Domkowski and Zach Franklin for very different reasons. Franklin leaving for an innings limit. Domkowski leaving to pursue professional baseball with the Pirates. And that left a lot of question marks in the YD rotation. The 3-2. Fastball is lined up the middle into center field. Briley Knight chasing under it. He makes the catch 10 feet in front of the track for the first out. So that's not the first time that Jared Lyons has seen a couple of loud outs.
Number 17, Doug Odo.
At least as a YD Red Sox, had a couple of scares. 2 of them went foul down the left field line in 4 1/3 innings of relief. His first time out as a Red Sox, gave up a home run to Taylor Smith to lead off the second inning, and then a line drive that at Red Wilson Field would definitely be gone. And a fastball fouled back to the screen for strike 1 from the righty Douglas Hodo, a DH who walked his first time up. Hodo hitting .281 with 5 home runs. He did that actually at Texas, hitting .179 so far as a Commodore. Fastball misses way upstairs, and Keegan has to stand up to catch. Jared Lyons, the senior from George Mason, only came out of the bullpen once in recent memory, and that was his last appearance as a Red Sox. 4 1/3 in relief of Nolan McCarthy, who only recorded 2 outs and allowed 4 runs. As the changeup was fouled to the left side, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Douglas Hodo. Lyons, prior to that first appearance as a Red Sox, last came out of the bullpen sophomore year in 2019 at George Mason. And the 1-2. Changeup down Broadway, strike 3 called. The 5th strikeout of the day for Jared Lyons and the 2nd out of the 3rd inning. And 2 outs, no one on for Casey Harford.
Casey Harford.
Harford was the first strikeout victim for Lyons of the day. The right-handed hitter hitting just under a shade of .250, 0 for his last 10, and nubs it to the bleachers. Foul, nice catch in the 3rd row by the fans in the bleachers to the right side. Jared Lyons, a .373 ERA this past year in 2021 for George Mason. Keegan could not steal the low strike, so now it's 1-1 with 2 outs. Chopped foul to the left side down the third baseline, 1-2. Two outs, no one on. A ball and two strikes with Falmouth leading 1-0 in the bottom of the third inning. From the Gov and the windup, 1-2 delivery, line drive, left field, base hit. Casey Harford is on base for the first time today, the second hit of the day for Falmouth, with the first coming as a solo shot in the second. And Jace Borfin at the dish with a runner on first and 2 outs. So that breaks an 0 for 10 skid for Harford, and this is not the guy you want up if you're Jared Lyons. And an out against Harford would have been so monumentally massive because that would have forced Borfin to lead off. And anytime a runner is on base for Jace Borfin, the seventh best hitter according to average in the CCBL, you might be in trouble. No balls and one strike after the foul ball popped foul a mile high. Borfin with 17 RBIs this season. That's tied for fourth in the CCBL. Lefty transfer from Arkansas, and Borfin grounds it sharply into right field through the first base, second base hole, and Luttrell fields it with his glove side right. And on to third is Casey Harford. Runners on the corners after the 2-out single for Jace Borfin. Well, with Cody Huff playing on the bag, holding Casey Harford on first, there really wasn't much mobility for him, especially as a right-handed thrower and the glove hand having to go across his body. He had close to no shot to catch up to Borfin's missile of a ground ball. So now for the first time today, Jared Lyons working with a runner in scoring position for the lanky lefty Christopher Armstrong. From the University of Florida, Armstrong watches the changeup low. It's smothered by Keegan, and the runners stay put. With 2 outs, it's still runners on the corners, 1-0 count. Christopher Armstrong just 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position this year. Hitting in the cleanup hole, though. And Armstrong checked his swing, went 3/4 for strike one. There's the changeup again for Jared Lyons. It's been so important to keeping him in counts. Seems to be his go-to pitch after missing. Saying, okay, let me get back to my equilibrium, go back to the changeup. Harford on third, Borfin on first, and he dives back safely on the checkover by Lyons. Armstrong hitting .277 on the season. Just .235 against righties, was 0 for 3, rather had 0 for 2 with 3 walks against Bourne prior to the off day. Lyons working from the stretch and steps off, gets the signs again from Keegan, and comes set at the belt. 1 ball, 1 strike. With 2 outs, and Lyons lofts it back over to third, and Harford scurries back safely. Armstrong popped out to short his last time up. And now cracks it foul down the right field line. Christopher Armstrong with a broken bat quickly moves over to the dugout to exchange for new lumber. I mentioned before that Armstrong, the lanky lefty from the University of Florida, 6'4", 235 pounds. And just for reference, that's the second biggest position player in the entire Western Division. Zane Harris from Hyannis is 1 inch taller and 25 pounds heavier. So Chris Armstrong mentioned 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position as the big number 23 gets a new bat for himself. Just 143 with runners on base. Interesting stats for a guy who's hitting in the meat of the order. A ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. And the pitch to Armstrong. Fastball right down the middle. Strike 3 called. Keegan threw over to third. He got him just for show. Side retired via strikeout for Jared Lyons. The 6th strikeout of the day for the righty from George Mason. And Falmouth strands a pair, 1 on third base. At the end of 3, it's 1 for Falmouth, none for YD, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, top of the 4th inning. And Cody Huff leading off for the trailing Red Sox, down by 1. Mikey Tepper, the righty from Mississippi State, still working strong. Going in borderline uncharted territory for him. Career high at the NCAA level, 2 innings pitched. And 3 in the CCBL. Cody Huff grounds it over to the left side. Nice play on a scoop by the third baseman Colden on to first in time for the first out. So Cody Huff, after drawing the 4-pitch walk in the first inning for the first time in 11 games free passing, not wasting any time, first pitch swinging and a 5-3 putout. 1 out, no one on for Tanner Smith, who popped out to third his last time up. Tanner Smith, the Oregon product, swinging from the left side. And watches the curveball on the lower portion of the strike zone. Awarded by the home plate umpire Brandon Johnson, likely because of Taylor Smith's frame. The leather just bounced up after the curveball hit it. And Smith grounds it foul to the right side. So no balls and 2 strikes. Mikey Tepper working from the windup. And Smith goes down swinging way ahead of the breaking ball for strike 3. The 2nd strikeout of the day for Mikey Tepper, and there are 2 gone for Wyatt Hoffman.
Now batting the second baseman, number 3, Wyatt Hoffman.
So it only took Tepper 4 pitches to get through the first 2 batters of this inning. Here's Wyatt Hoffman, who skies it to the left side and down for a base hit. A 2-out single for Wyatt Hoffman. He's now 1 for 2 on the day. Runner on first, 2 outs for Drew Bowser.
Hitter number 2, Drew Bowser.
Bowser grounded out to third his last time up. Big righty from Stanford. And Wyatt Hoffman just recorded his 24th hit of the season. That's best on the team. High and tight fastball by Tepper for ball 1. made 2 starts this past year. But like I alluded to, neither of them were beyond the 2-inning threshold. And Bowser grounds it to the left side. High hop for the shortstop, Harford. On to second in time. Side retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on in the middle of the 4th. YD down 1-0 right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Falmouth leads 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Jared Lyons only 1 scrape on his knee today. The home run from Taylor Smith, the catcher, in the top of the 2nd inning, and here to start the top of the 4th is Taylor Smith, and that home run was the 4th of the year for Smith. Only hitting a .196 on the year. There are 5 Commodores in the starting 9 hitting sub-Mendoza. Taylor Smith knows his way around the Gov, played for Falmouth in 2019. And that home run, by the way, his first since July 11th, when he hit 3 in 3 games in a row. YD Brewster and then Katuitt. 1 ball, no strikes on the fastball that tipped off the top of Dominic Keegan's mitt. Back to the backstop it goes, and the 1-0 is cracked to the left side, deep left field, back on the track, and Tanner Smith is making the catch on the track. Tanner Smith camped out on the dirt on the precipice of the wall. Everyone in the ballpark thought he was just an observer, but instead just waiting his turn for the ball to finally reach back towards this atmosphere. So Tanner Smith getting under that one and giving both pitches that Jared Lyons throws at him a big ride. Anthony Hall, the left fielder, struck out swinging his first time up. No balls and 1 strike now. Hall, the lefty from Oregon. After the lefty from Oregon, Tanner Smith, just recorded the first out. And the changeup misses low and inside for ball 1. Hall was the 3rd strikeout victim for Lyons today. He has 6 already, and in a 1-2 hole. Back at it again is Anthony Hall. But Lyons proved an ability to record the strikeout, had 4 in only 4 1/3 in his debut as a Red Sox. Fastball hits the plate, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lyons recorded 72 1/3 innings this past year for George Mason. Fastball high by the brow of the lefty Hall. So the count is now full. The interesting thing about Lyons, who led the team in strikeouts, NDRA, and innings, is that one is tattooed to center field. Briley Knight saunters under it and makes the catch over his left shoulder 15 feet in front of the wall for the second out. The interesting thing about Lyons was that command wasn't necessarily an issue in terms of strikeout to walk ratio. It was in terms of other stuff, hit by pitches, wild pitches. He had 7 hit by pitches and 6 wild pitches. And while the stat line is looking pretty good for Lions, there have been a few that got scraped on the chain link fence behind home plate. 1 ball, no strikes to the righty Michael Curiali, second baseman who struck out looking his first time up. And that was his 31st strikeout of the season in just 79 at-bats. He's hitless in his last 5 games. Bottom of the 4th inning, Falmouth up 1-0, 2 outs, no one on. From the Gov in Falmouth, Massachusetts. And Lions' curveball grounded to the left side. Lou backhands it, rifles across the diamond in time to get the speedy Curiali side retired. Jared Lyons works a 1-2-3 inning for the first time today, and at the end of 4, Falmouth 1, YD none, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Top of the 5th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Zach Liu leading off, and the surprising part is that Mikey Tepper still in the game in the top of the 5th inning. We mentioned before that his high water mark for innings pitched as an NCAA pitcher was an even 2. And the breaking ball to Liu misses high by his helmet for ball 1. Zach Liu from Cal State Fullerton, hitting from the right side, has 3 hits in his past 10 games. Checked his swing, thought better of the high fastball, and the home plate umpire thinks twice about it. Now checks back Brandon Johnson, asking Mikey Garcia, the first base umpire. He says safe as well. No swing, 2 balls, no strikes. And Liu skies it foul behind home plate. And 3 hits in your past 10 games, that might not sound like anything that is absolutely ridiculously notable, but for a guy who started the season and his YD career 0 for 14, Liu's come a very long way. And the breaking ball, no doubt about that one, slices the zone, count even at 2-2. Now Mikey Tepper is working pretty efficiently, but there is some action in the bullpen for Falmouth. Another check swing for Liu, and the fastball missed high. Liu did not go. The count is full. But Tepper coming up on his 62nd pitch. His record as an NCAA pitcher going into this game, 30. And the breaking ball, smack to the left side, deep left field, back towards the track is Hall to make the catch over his right shoulder, and Zach Liu gave that one a ride for the first out.
Now batting the center fielder, number 7, Briley Knight.
So the bad news for YD Red Sox fans is that YD is still down 1-0 with 1 out in the top of the 5th inning as Briley Knight, the lefty from Portland, settles into the box. The good news, well, that's the bad news. The good news is that They have plenty of time, supposedly, to make up that small deficit. The weather looks like it might be clearing up a little bit. We were expecting rain about 15 minutes from the time we put the tent up over our equipment here. Valuable equipment. We don't want to mess that up, but that was around the third inning. Count even at 1-1 to Briley Knight after the fastball missed low. Still haven't seen a drop, knock on wood. But 5 innings is an official game, so we're 2 frames away from that as Briley Knight fouls the breaking ball back into the mid of Taylor Smith. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, no one on. Knight flew out to right his last time up. Hitless in his last 5 games, but did pitch in the last game. Grounded over to second, and Curiali makes the play for the second out. That shouldn't have come as a huge surprise that Briley Knight was the emergency pitcher when YD was down 10 runs. He has himself quite the cannon and arguably the best arm on the team. He's now 0 for his last 11 after the ground out to second. Flip the lineup card back to the top. It's Chase Luttrell's turn. Flew out to right his last time up, but walked on 9 pitches to start the game, and the breaking ball misses high to the lefty from Long Beach State for ball 1. You'd have to imagine this is likely Mikey Tepper's last inning. Between the pitch count and the action in the bullpen, he's done quite the job. 2 balls, no strikes now. YD only has 1 hit. 4 base runners, though, 1 error and 2 walks. And Luttrell quickly ahead, 3-0. Mikey Tepper having trouble locating that fastball. After the breaking ball missed high, and then 2 fastballs, 1 high, 1 low. No one on, 2 outs. The 3-0, Luttrell taking all the way, and the get-me-over fastball does just that. 3 balls, 1 strike. To Chase Luttrell, who's hitting leadoff for just the 3rd time as a Red Sox. Did it sparingly as a freshman for Long Beach State. Now he's a hitter, swings and pops it up, shallow center field. Michael Curiali, the second baseman, is under it, but he's waved off by Harford, the shortstop. Side retired. No runs, no hits, and no one left on. YD sent down in order, and in the middle of the 5th, it's Falmouth 1, YD 0, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Bottom of the 5th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Falmouth leads 1-0. Still the only run against Jared Lyons is the solo home run that Taylor Smith hit in the 2nd inning. Cody Colden, the righty from Washington State, leading off, and Jared Lyons elevates the fastball way high for ball 1. I've been talking a lot about how Mikey Tepper has done quite the job for Falmouth. Arguably the best start he's ever made as an NCAA pitcher. A bunt foul off the belt of Cody Colden. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Cody Colden, by the way, just hitting a $120 at the Gov this year. So Tupper working beyond 60 pitches for the first time as a collegiate pitcher. Jared Lyons, on the other hand, he's at 70, and the 71st is lined into left center field for a leadoff single. So Cody Colden is on base for the first time today. And the 4th hit against Jared Lyons puts a runner on first and no one out for Luke Boyers. So Lyons is at 70 pitches, and there is very little, actually there is some action in the YD bullpen, but if he's pulled, it's not for the same reason as Tepper. He has been beyond the 100 pitch mark routinely this past year. As Luke Boyers takes the first pitch for a strike. In fact, Lyons went beyond 100 pitches 7 times this past year for George Mason. And the 0-1, a curveball, had a lot of curve and a lot of zone, 0-2. So Boyers just watching, lined out to center in the 3rd inning. That one he gave quite the ride. But Briley Knight tracked it down just short of the track. Runner on first. That's Cody Colden after the leadoff single. 0-2 count, no one out. Elevated fastball, maybe by design. Dominic Keegan stood up just at the right moment and stared down Cody Colden back to first base. We've seen that a lot from Scott Pickler. Design pitch up, design pitch out to give his catchers a chance to throw. Swing and a miss, and down goes Luke Boyers. The 7th strikeout of the day against Falmouth. And Jared Lyons proving he belongs in the starting rotation in the CCBL. So Douglas Hodo, the DH, one of the 7 strikeout victims for Falmouth today. 0 for 1 with a walk in the 1st. So it's a runner on first with 1 out. And Hodo, the righty from Texas, has to wait his turn with Lyons checking back to first. But we mentioned that Cody Huff especially, with his very strong arm behind home plate for YD, he's been given the ability to test his arm against some runners and trying to dance off of bags, comfortable leads. And a waved swing for Hodo at the changeup for strike 1. Dominic Keegan had an equal chance in the 3rd inning, but there was a strikeout of Chris Armstrong, so that throw was just for show to retire the side. No balls, 1 strike. Jared Lyons working from the stretch comes set at the belt. Tips his cap and deals, and the changeup on the inside corner. Jared Lyons has only had 7+ strikeouts 4 times at George Mason. 12 starts this past year. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Jared Lyons with his old-fashioned mustache. Kicks and deals, fastball misses high. 1-2. That's the first thing I noticed. When I first spoke to Jared Lyons, he got here about last week, and I had a conversation with him, met him a little bit. Saw the mustache. I said, what inspired that? He just kind of shrugged his shoulders, wanted to try it. Once upon a time, by the way, that upper lip was by itself. A 1 ball, 2 strikes. He also recently got a haircut. The entire YD Red Sox team just got haircuts. And when I asked him if he thought about shaving the mustache, he didn't even think twice. It was an immediate no. The 1-2 popped into foul ground to the left side. Zach Liu, the third baseman, on for a look. And it splashes off the bleachers. Foul. So Hodo will live to see another pitch. Only has 1 RBI in 29 at-bats now as a Commodore. Falmouth in 4th place in the West. They have some ground to cover if they want to get to second and make the playoffs. Fastball is spiked. Dominic Keegan, the catcher, couldn't catch up to it. It trickles to the right side by the Falmouth dugout, and on to second with ease is Cody Colden. So we mentioned this before, how strikeout to walk ratio has never really been a problem for Jared Lyons, but what has been the command outside of the strikeouts. Had 6 wild pitches in 2021 for George Mason. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner on second, 1 out, with Falmouth up 1-0. Hodo with a chance to double his RBI total. Mentioned he only had the 1 RBI, and Dominic Keegan, aware of the situation now with more pressure on Jared Lyons, he comes out to have a word with his righty. Maybe to check some signs, though, with Cody Colden camping out at second base. A lot of people might be scratching their heads when they see Douglas Hodo hitting leadoff with a 179 batting average. He does have a 343 on base percentage, though, and he slices it foul to the right side. Hasn't had many chances with runners in scoring position, just 1 for 3 on the year. But hitting 375 with runners on base. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Hodo. Cody Colden playing very closely to second base with Hoffman keeping him company. And the breaking ball. Slap to the left side. Zach Liu couldn't smother it. It trickles into shallow left field. And on to home is Cody Colden. There will be no throw. That's the second run for Falmouth. Cody Colden had to freeze because Zach Liu looked like he might have been able to stop it. It went off of his glove, trickled to left field, and when that happened, he knew he had a chance to score. An RBI single for Douglas Hodo, and Falmouth leads 2-0. Here's the right-handed hitter Casey Harford now. And the breaking ball chopped foul to the left side. Just the second RBI of the season for Hodo. And that's the 5th hit that Jared Lyons has scattered over 4 1/3. This is exactly where his day ended in his debut as a Red Sox. And a changeup fouled off of the mask of Dominic Keegan. It missed high, and Casey Harford does not look happy with himself. A couple of choice words just for his own privacy, but an elevated changeup, that's the first time we've seen that from Jared Lyons, and Harford knew it. Singled in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 1st. A runner on first with 1 out. No balls, 2 strikes. And the fastball low gets away from Keegan, and on to second. Douglas Hodo without a throw. Zachary Patterson, the righty from the University of the Pacific, is getting warm in a hurry for YD. If Lyons doesn't get out of trouble, he might not be able to finish this inning. 2 singles sandwiched by a strikeout. That's all Falmouth needed to double their lead. And a fastball misses just inside, according to the home plate umpire, Brandon Johnson. So the count is now full. Scratch that. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Douglas Hodo on second base. And Jared Lyons deals a fastball off the fists of a check swinging Casey Harford. And Brandon Johnson says that he went around, and now the umpires will converse. Scott Pickler out to the field. Looks like he's beelining it for the mound, though. He might want to replace Jared Lyons. He might not be aware that Casey Harford was originally called out. Now, the rule is if the pitch hits you and you swing, it's a strike. Pickler is now talking to the umpires. I think the call on the field is in his favor. He doesn't want to touch that. The umpires conversing in their own right, and the call is strike 3. So Casey Harford shooting himself in the foot. A pitch that would have otherwise given him a free pass results in the second strikeout of the day for him. Doesn't change Scott Pickler's opinion. He wants to have a word with Jared Lyons, the righty from George Mason, potentially take the ball from him. Zach Patterson has been getting warm for quite a while. You almost feel like if Pickler was going to take the ball from Lyons, though, he would have already done it. And now Brandon Johnson, the home plate umpire, starts to venture down that 60 feet 6 inch mark to tell Pickler it's time to play some ball. But he's talking with Dominic Keegan, the catcher, and Jared Lyons, the pitcher. And Patterson just tossing the ball up, playing catch with himself, waiting for his name to be called. Now you would think that Pickler's just trying to give Patterson some time, but Patterson's not using it. He's just watching intently, waiting for the call to the bullpen, and there it is. So Scott Pickler is going to Zach Patterson from the University of the Pacific with 2 outs and a runner on second base. Falmouth 2, YD 0. We'll be right back right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, still in the bottom of the 5th, and YD not out of the woods. Down by 2 with a runner on second base. Zachary Patterson on in relief of Jared Lyons, and Jace Borfin, the 7th best hitter in the CCBL according to average at the plate, and the lefty takes the fastball at the letters for strike 1. Now Borfin singled his last time up, also struck out. One of 8 strikeout victims that Jared Lyons had. A fastball stands Keegan up behind the plate count, even at 1-1. Lyons from the University of the Pacific making his second appearance. Went 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, gave up 4 runs, all of them earned on July 18th against Orleans in an 11-9 win. A line drive to the right side and a diving catch made by Wyatt Hoffman in shallow right center field. That retires the side, and that robs Falmouth of the 3rd run of the day. We've seen some impressive plays by Hoffman. None better than that. He sprawls to his right, airborne to make the catch. Side retired. Falmouth leads 2-0. They get one on Lions, but Zachary Patterson coming in and Wyatt Hoffman right behind him to keep it that way. At the end of 5, it's 2 for Falmouth, none for YD, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Brooks, Lee.
Top of the 6th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Falmouth 2, YD 0. And Brooks Lee, the switch hitter from Cal Poly, leading off against the righty from UCLA, Charles Harrison, making his 7th appearance of the season. The sophomore at 180 pounds, 6'1", coming on in relief of Mikey Tepper. 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Absolute gem for the freshman from Mississippi State. Only struck out 2. He was letting his infield and his outfield do some work for him. But the high water mark for Tepper prior to today was 2 innings pitched and 30 pitches. He went beyond 60 today. Line drive foul on the first pitch fastball by Lee, and the second pitch fastball is taken high and outside for ball 1. Well, Harrison made 16 appearances as a true sophomore, all of them out of the pen this past year. A 3.55 ERA over 12 2/3 innings pitched. And Lee now in a 1-2 count after the foul ball to the right side. Didn't record a single decision at UCLA, but had 12 strikeouts, 3 walks. Brooks Lee lined out to short his last time up, grounds it over to first this time, and Armstrong stomps on the bag for the first out. Brings up Dominic Keegan, the 3-hitter for YD and the 3-hitter for Vanderbilt. YD down 2-0 in the top of the 6th inning, no one on with 1 out. Now Keegan already tied for the team lead with home runs, 3. It only took him 6 games to get there. And a breaking ball taken off the plate for ball 1. Keegan fouls it off. 1-1 count with 1 out. Charles Harrison with a 4.5 ERA. I mentioned he didn't actually make a start for UCLA. Did make a start for Falmouth earlier this year, so he could give them some length, you would think. As Keegan pops it up a mile high to the right side, shallow right field. Armstrong, the first baseman, is under it and makes the catch with the echoes of me, me, me still ringing through the gov for the second out.
Now batting the first baseman, number 20.
So Armstrong now responsible for both of the outs to start this frame in the top of the 6th inning, and Cody Huff walked on 4 pitches in the first, grounded out to third in the fourth. He's at the plate. Right-handed hitter from Stanford. High fastball. So in theory, you would think, okay, Harrison's made a start. He could give Falmouth some length, but you look at his stats and his high water mark for innings pitched, exactly like Tepper, 2. That didn't stop Tepper, though. And Huff watches the fastball down the middle, 1-1 count. Cody Huff went 2 for 4 against Falmouth in just his 5th game as a Red Sox. That was when times were good for Cody Huff. And he slaps it to right field, and the right fielder, Borfin, is there to make the catch, side retired. In the middle of the 6th, it's 2-0 for Falmouth, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Bottom of the 6th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network from the Gov, Falmouth 2 and YD 0. Zachary Patterson working in his 2nd inning, and a line drive to the right side. The first baseman, Dominic Keegan, makes the catch for the first out. Quickly tested as Keegan switched from catcher to first, and he switches with the former first baseman, Cody Huff, who's now behind the plate for Zachary Patterson. Records a very quick out via lineout, and that should not come as a surprise statistically speaking. Just faced one batter in the 5th inning in relief of Jared Lyons and got the line out. That one was a little different, though, to retire the side. Wyatt Hoffman diving to his right to keep it in the infield and into his web. But Jared Lyons pitched very well. 4 2/3, did scatter 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts for Jared Lyons. Pop into foul territory left side, and Zach Liu makes the catch for the 2nd out. So a quick line drive to the first baseman, a quick pop out to the 3rd baseman. 2 pitches, 2 outs for Zachary Patterson. Anthony Hall, 0 for 2 on the day, the left fielder from Oregon. Going up against Zachary Patterson, who had a 4.44 ERA in 24 1/3 innings pitched for Pacific. Changeup misses high. to Anthony Hall, who's hitting about .215 on the year. And the changeup misses low and inside for ball 2. So Cody Huff looked like he was a little shaken up because did not hit his shin guard. Looked like it might have hit the inner part of his leg. He's okay, though. 2 balls, no strikes, and the fastball fouled back to the screen. 2 outs and no one on for Patterson. And Jared Lyons, when he came off the mound and Patterson replaced him, got a big ovation. That was a big deal. 4 2/3. Went 4 1/8 in relief in his first appearance as a Red Sox. And you have to think that after 4 2/3 of strong baseball, he's in line for a starting spot. Fastball line, left field, it's down for a base hit. A 2-out single for Anthony Hall, the first time that Patterson's been marked up today. And the inning continues for Falmouth, up 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th.
Michael Curiali.
Anthony Hall on first base, the former center fielder for Oregon. Tanner Smith for YD hit, or rather played, left field this past year. So a couple of ducks on the field with 1 duck on the pond, and a breaking ball missed low in the dirt, smothered by Cody Huff's chest protector on the first pitch to Michael Curiali, 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout. Patterson deals. Fastball misses inside and turns Curiali away to avoid it. 2-0. Now Patterson has a very low leg kick. His delivery is a lot of arms. They only go what seems like halfway up on his leg kick, and then he deals. A fastball misses way high, so quickly behind Curiali, 3-0. Working from the stretch for the first time today. The 3-0, a fastball misses by the shins, ball 4. So a single and a walk put runners on first and second for Cody Colden, who singled and scored a run in the 5th inning.
Number 3, Cody Colden.
That's the first time since the 3rd inning that back-to-back Commodores reached base. Cody Colden, the right-handed hitter from Washington State, in a big spot here with Anthony Hall on second, Curiali on first, and 2 outs. And the breaking ball never really broke. It missed high for ball 1 by the shoulders. So Patterson steps off and gets some signs from his collegiate teammate from Pacific, the second baseman Wyatt Hoffman. Hoffman playing close to second, holding on Hall. He has some speed. And the fastball is delivered. Pop-up, shallow right field. Wyatt Hoffman reaches out his arms to signal he's got it, and he does. Side retired. In shallow right field, Wyatt Hoffman makes the catch and retires Cody Colden for the final out of the 6th inning. It's now 2-0 in favor of the Commodores at the end of 6, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
outfielder, number 29.
Top of the 7th inning, and Falmouth leads YD 2-0. It's time for me, Brad Klein, to pass the baton to Will Connerly.
Thanks, Brad. Here in the top of the 7th, a 2-0 lead for Falmouth. Charles Harrison, the right-hander from UCLA, on the mound. And facing off against Tanner Smith, Wyatt Hoffman, and Drew Bowser. The hitters due up for YD in the top of the 7th. YD with just one hit so far today, and the first pitch in there for strike one to the right-hander as a rabbit actually runs on the field, and the umpires converse and start to approach the rabbit that is toward third base. Now it's running around the mound, and the umpires watching towards it as the rabbit's now on second base, and they're trying to get the rabbit out of play here in the top of the 7th, now going toward the outfield, toward the right field line, and still being approached by Mickey Garcia, the first base umpire, before the rabbit eventually leaves the field of play. But for a moment, it dribbled out there for a second, ran around the grass, and got to the outfield that eventually left the premises. For a short delay, 0-1 the count, and the next pitch to Tanner Smith. Check swing foul ball back to the screen, 0-2 the count. Charles Harrison. 10 innings so far this summer, 10 strikeouts. His 7th appearance, has made one start for Falmouth, but the longest he's gone in any appearance is 2 1/3. And at UCLA, 2 innings was his season high in 2021 as the pitch misses upstairs. A ball and 2 strikes. He threw 12 2/3 for the Bruins with a 3.55 ERA, facing off against Tanner Smith, who's 0 for 2 today, hitting .236 on the season with 2 home runs. The pitch hit well, left side. Back on it is Anthony Hall, the left fielder, and it is Tanner Smith who flies out to his Oregon Duck teammate and left for the first out. Now Wyatt Hoffman to the plate, singled back in the 4th.
Wyatt Hoffman.
He's 1 for 2, hitting .277 on the season. Had struggled a little bit as of late, especially for the Wyatt Hoffman standards that have been created. But now 8 straight YD hitters have failed to reach base. As the right-hander delivers the first pitch, misses outside. So Wyatt Hoffman, 1 ball, no strikes. As Charles Harrison has the ball now, but it was a really solid start for Mikey Tepper. 5 innings and just 1 hit, no runs allowed. Swing and a miss by Hoffman, 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 7th, a 2-0 deficit for YD. But Tepper, the starter for Falmouth, went 5 innings. No runs, just 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. And Cade Hunter, he's waiting in the on-deck circle. The designated hitter spot does belong right now to Drew Bowser, but appears as though that Hunter is going to go into the box. Waiting on deck. Crew Robinson waiting as well as Wyatt Hoffman drills this one to center field and has himself a 1-out single in the top of the 7th. He reaches aboard. A multi-hit performance for Wyatt Hoffman. He's now 2 for 3 and paces YD in terms of hits as he notches a two more today to keep pace. And now Crew Robinson comes to the plate. And he knows something about dramatic late-inning home runs. He's hit 2 home runs for YD so far this summer. One was a 3-run home run that came in the 9th against Bourne. And the other at Chatham, top of the 9th. The score was tied. YD was down to their final, you could say, strike and out, with the score being tied in the top of the 9th and their last chance to score any runs. And Crew Robinson hit a go-ahead home run at Veterans Field. YD ended up winning that contest against the Anglers. As Crew Robinson comes in to pinch hit for Drew Bowser, who was 0 for 2. And the first offering to Robinson taken for strike 1. Robinson, a junior college All-American, headed to UC San Diego, facing off against Charles Harrison, who's at UCLA. But it's got a lot of work for Falmouth. His last appearance, he threw 2 scoreless innings at Hyannis, and he has thrown 4 1/3 scoreless coming into this one. And getting 4 outs so far in this contest, 5 2/3 of scoreless baseball for the right-hander. And Wyatt Hoffman, his first multi-hit game since the 8-4 loss versus Chatham on July 15th. That was 7 games ago, and that came at a time where Hoffman was picking up multi-hit games at a very high level when his average is well over 300 as he fouls it back. Hoffman, throughout the duration of this season, has had a 9-game hit streak and also a 6-game hit streak, coupled in with a streak where he had 5 straight games with a double as well. He's on first. 1 ball and 2 strikes, Crew Robinson at the plate. 1 out, top of the 7th, and the 1-2 to Robinson. This is outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Robinson coming in for Bowser in the designated hitter spot. The 2-2 misses high, count runs full. Harrison didn't walk a batter in his last outing against Hyannis when Falmouth lost 5-1. But now with a full count to Crew Robinson. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, top of the 7th. A 2-0 lead for Falmouth. But Crew Robinson at first base representing the tying run here in the top of the 7th. And the rain, we thought potentially it was going to come here to Gov Fuller Field. It hasn't yet. Deep breath from Harrison. The payoff pitch. Hoffman in motion. Robinson hits this ball left side, and Anthony Hall running for it in left field, but gives chase until he sees it fall out of play, foul. So Robinson fouls off the full count offering. We'll do it again. Wyatt Hoffman, the runner at first base who singled, he was in motion with 1 out in the top of the 7th. And Crew Robinson, the left-handed hitting outfielder, subbing in for Bowser in the designated hitter spot, working a full count here as the 3-2 pitch from Harrison awaits. He kicks and delivers, and it misses high. Crew Robinson draws the free pass. The YD's got something brewing here in the top of the 7th.
Now batting the third baseman, number 8, Zach.
The third walk that Crew Robinson has drawn this season. Zach Liu coming to the plate, subbing in for Drew Bowser, who actually leads the team in walks in terms of the active roster. And Robinson avoids his 11th strikeout in 17th at bat and puts together a walk as that first pitch gets away from Taylor Smith, the catcher. Runners advance to second and third on the high fastball from Charles Harrison. And now Zach Liu, 1 hit could tie this game. Top of the 7th, runners on second and third. A 2-0 lead for Falmouth, but YD now knocking at the doorstep with the pitch well upstairs and out of the reach of Taylor Smith. The wild pitch allows 2 runners to advance. You've got Wyatt Hoffman at third, Crew Robinson at second, and Zach Liu hitting with a 1 ball, no strike count at the plate. 1 out, runners on second and third, the pitch. This is high. Another ball thrown upstairs, appeal over at second base, and Mickey Garcia says he did not go around, so 2 balls and no strikes. You've got Harrison on the mound, the righty from UCLA, working in his 2nd inning. 7 outs, the most he has recorded in an outing this summer. 4 he's gotten thus far as the pitch misses upstairs and losing his command a little bit. 3 straight balls to Zach Liu. There is a base open over at first, and Zach Liu at the plate has 2 hits in 10 at-bats with runners in scoring position. YD with runners on second and third, but a 3-0 count. Harrison delivers. Pitch in there for strike one. Low inside corner on the fastball. 88 miles per hour from the right-hander Harrison. 6'1", 180 from Santa Clara, California. And now facing Zach Liu with a 3-ball, 1-strike count, 1 out. Runners on second and third. And the pitch from Harrison. Called strike two. So from 3-0 to 3-2. And again, another full count for the second consecutive hitter, this time with Zach Liu at the plate. Runners on second and third. The tying run in scoring position here in the top of the seventh. Wyatt Hoffman at third base has accounted for both of YD's hits today. The 3-2. Swing and a miss by Zach Liu, and he goes down on strikes as now Briley Knight comes to the plate. With YD knocking on the door, it was Tanner Smith flew out to left field. Wyatt Hoffman singled. Crew Robinson walked. And then Zach Liu struck out. Now Briley Knight coming up in an RBI situation. 2 outs and runners on second and third. YD down by 2. Briley Knight facing off against Charles Harrison. And first pitch in there for strike one. Knight has 2 runs driven in on the season. That excludes games against Chatham. And he has no RBIs against Western Division opponents. Falmouth from the West hosting YD today at Gov Fuller Field and leading 2-0 in the top of the seventh. But Crew Robinson at second base representing the tying run. The 0-1 to Briley Knight, grounded right side over to Michael Curiali. He comes up on it, gets rid of it over to first, and it's a ground out to end the inning to second base. So Harrison works through 2 out of the pen. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left on for YD. Stretch time at Gov Fuller Field. Falmouth leading 2-0 on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Bottom of the seventh, a 2-0 lead for Falmouth. They're at the plate. And Zach Patterson on the mound for YD, the 6'3" junior right-hander out of Livermore, California, plays at Pacific with Wyatt Hoffman. And Wyatt Hoffman, he's afforded the most excitement today for YD. Been a similar trend all year for the Red Sox as the first pitch to Boyers misses upstairs, the center fielder from TCU. Next pitch outside as well, 2 balls and no strikes. And with Hoffman, of course, the first batter that the right-hander Zach Patterson faced came in the 5th. It was Jace Borfin. And Wyatt Hoffman made one of the most impressive plays we've seen him make all year as that ball hit to left field and gloved by Tanner Smith for the first out in the bottom of the 7th. But Hoffman on that play, as Brad Klein detailed, completely went airborne and made the play for his teammate at the collegiate level, Zach Patterson, the pitcher. and then worked the 6th and gets an out here in the 7th as well. Working out of the bullpen in relief for Jared Lyons, who put together a solid start for YD. They needed that after surrendering 11 runs last game and actually having a position player go on the mound the day before the off day when they had a blowout loss to Harwich. 11-1 was the final, and the thing about that loss is it did just tally as a loss, but as Brad mentioned in the post-game show, that game had utter importance because of the fact that both teams were fighting for second place. YD still doing that, third in the East Division right now. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Doug Hodo in the 1-1 in there for strike 2. Patterson dabbles in the batter box a little bit. Pitcher and hitter at Pacific as he comes set. Here working now with Cody Huff, fouled away. Dominic Keegan caught the first 5 innings of the contest, and now it's been a few games in a row that Scott Pickler has actually rotated catchers mid-game, and he can afford to do that when they both can catch and play first. And Keegan moving to first, Huff behind the plate, both getting reps with the catcher gear on. A swing and a miss by Doug Hodo, and he goes down for the second time today via the strikeout. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. For YD, a positive is that when they come to the plate in the top of the 8th, they'll have the top of the order up. The 3rd straight game that Hodo has gone down with a strikeout, and he's struck out twice today, 1 for 3, had a single in the 5th. 0-1 count now to Casey Harford, who's 1 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. Fouled away, and this is now the right-hander Patterson with Borfin on deck, the first hitter that he faced in the 5th. He has faced the order of Falmouth out of the bullpen. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Patterson comes at the pitch to Harford. Grounded slowly, left side. Third baseman Zach Liu comes up on it, gets rid of it over to first, and a nifty play made by Zach Liu over at the hot corner. Came up and gloved it, threw it across the diamond, and Harford grounds out. So a clean inning for the right-hander Zach Patterson as Falmouth goes down in order. We send it to the 8th, top of the order due up for YD. Down 2-0 on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
batting the right fielder, number 6, Chase
YD up to the plate here in the top of the 8th, and they've got the top of the order up as well. 1, 2, and 3. Chase Luttrell, Brooks Lee, and Dominic Keegan here to face KC Hunt. First pitch from Hunt, grounded right side by Luttrell, and a leadoff single here in the top of the 8th. A prime opportunity for YD with the meat of the order coming up. KC Hunt, 6'4", 205 junior. He comes out of the bullpen after Falmouth went with Tepper for 5 innings and then Harrison for 2. It's KC Hunt who comes to pitch in the 8th, had 14 appearances this past season for Mississippi State, who won the national title. 15 innings and a 4.80 ERA. Facing off against Brooks Lee now, 0 for 3 today, but has hit the ball hard as first pitch swinging foul back. 2 ground outs to the right side for Brooks Lee and 1 line out to the shortstop. Has put good swings together coming into this one through 10 games with YD. Was hitting .410 and had 2 hits in his first game back from Team USA. As Chase Luttrell dives over, has a single to the right side to lead off the 8th. Brooks Lee at the plate and Dominic Keegan on deck. KC Hunt in his 3rd appearance of the summer. He pitched on the 18th most recently against Hyannis. Brooks Lee fouls it back. Nothing into the count. 91 miles per hour on the fastball from KC Hunt. Hunt surrendered 3 runs. None of them were earned, though, against Hyannis in the 5-1 loss for Falmouth on the 18th. No balls and 2 strikes. Brooks Lee at the plate. Chase Luttrell at first as it's fought off and fouled away towards Falmouth's dugout as Brooks Lee stays alive at the plate. The switch hitting shortstop, really good at protecting with 2 strikes. He showed it there and fouled it away. Still an 0-2 count. Chase Luttrell has a lead over at first, being held by Chris Armstrong. And the pitch from Hunt. Fouled away once again by Brooks Lee. That fastball was at 93 miles per hour on the radar gun from KC Hunt. Hunt making his 2nd appearance here at home, 3rd overall on the season. The sophomore. Another check over on Luttrell at first base. His most recent outing at the collegiate level came on the 28th of June against Vanderbilt, when he went 2 innings and surrendered 1 earned run. Fouled away by Brooks Lee again. The 3rd straight foul ball with 2 strikes. Still an 0-2 count as he's protecting here against KC Hunt, who had 14 strikeouts in 15 innings and had a 4.8 ERA. The most innings he did pitch at the collegiate level was 2. And the 0-2 to Brooks Lee, fouled away once again. Brooks Lee battling here with KC Hunt. Quick hands, fouling off the 4th now consecutive pitch with 2 strikes, and the 10th pitch, 7th pitch of the at-bat awaits here as Brooks Lee has fouled off 4 consecutive pitches. So pitch number 7 here on the 0-2 count. Fouled away once again. Still no balls and 2 strikes. And when you talk about long at-bats, typically they happen with full counts. But here with Brooks Lee, he's been swinging every time there's no balls and 2 strikes. And now has recorded 5 straight foul balls. And the 8th pitch of the at-bat awaits with Brooks Lee at the plate. Chase Luttrell at first, and a 2-0 lead for Falmouth here in the top of the 8th. 3 hits today for YD, 2 for Wyatt Hoffman, and 1 for Chase Luttrell. He's on first base of the 0-2, swing and a miss by Brooks Lee, and he is retired after the 8-pitch bout. Brooks Lee goes down via the K, and Dominic Keegan comes to the plate with 1 out in the top of the 8th.
Number 12, Dominic Keegan.
Dominic Keegan, he has faced KC Hunt before. He popped out against Hunt in the NCAA Championship Series when Vanderbilt and Mississippi State battled and Mississippi State won the title. A dive over, gets away on the throw over to Armstrong. Chase Luttrell's going to move over to second base after the pickoff attempt. Went wide of Armstrong's glove at first, and Chase Luttrell moves up 90 feet to scoring position here in the top of the 8th. So the error on the throw over by K.C. Hunt allows Luttrell to advance to second base with Dominic Keegan at the plate. Keegan 0 for 3 today, has had 4 straight multi-hit games for YD. As he takes the pitch low and inside for ball 1. It was an off-speed pitch on the first offering to Dominic Keegan, didn't offer. Pitch misses low, 2 balls, no strikes here with the right-hander pitching against Dominic Keegan in the top of the 8th. Hitter so far this summer, 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position against Hunt as he takes a check over on Luttrell at second. The pitch taken for strike number 2. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Keegan at the plate with Chase Luttrell on second base. Keegan takes strike number 2, rather. The pitch prior was the first strike. Apologies, now the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes with Vanderbilt's Dominic Keegan at the plate. Here in the top of the 8th, the pitch from Hunt, swing and a miss on the breaking ball. Keegan strikes out, runs down to first. Throw over by Smith is in time, and there's 2 outs. With Chase Luttrell leading off the top of the 8th with a single. Back-to-back strikeouts of Brooks Lee and Dominic Keegan. One of the best 1-2 punches in the league. Both go down via the strikeout against K.C. Hunt. And Cody Huff now to the plate. First offering misses low. And Keegan could be in jeopardy of losing that 4-game hit streak. 4-game multi-hit streak definitely out of the equation. Could get another at-bat, though, in the 9th if YD can put a performance together, as he's 0 for 4. Cody Huff at the plate 0 for 2 today. Walked in the first. It was the first time he drew a free pass in 11 games, and then grounded out in the 4th and flew out to right field in the 6th. Hunt looking back at Luttrell at second. The pitch to Cody Huff is called for a strike. So 2 balls and a strike. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. YD trailing by 2 runs as they call to Hunt out of the bullpen. Breaking ball upstairs. Now 3 balls and a strike. Hitter friendly count here to Stanford's Cody Huff. 7 runs driven in on the season. YD just with 3 hits today. Chase Luttrell on second, trailing by 2 runs. The pitch misses outside. Cody Huff gets aboard. So Cody Huff, after not drawing a walk in 11 games, now has 2 walks today.
Now batting the left fielder, number 29, Tanner Smith.
In the first multi-walk game for the Stanford catcher, he's aboard on first. And Tanner Smith comes to the plate. The inning extends, and the baton now in the hands of Oregon's Tanner Smith. Wyatt Hoffman now on deck. Runners on first and second. 2 outs, first offering. Tanner Smith grounded right side. Michael Curiali shades over and makes the play. Throw over to first in time to Armstrong, and the side is retired. 2-0 score in the middle of the 8th. 2 stranded for YD on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Bottom of the eighth, 2-0 lead, and Zach Patterson still on the mound for YD. He's given YD some pretty solid length, and after being the only pitcher besides a starting pitcher to pitch in the 11-1 loss against Harwich the day before the off day on Wednesday, it makes sense that he has the ability to give YD some length. But he's been solid out of the bullpen. Came in to get the final out in the fifth against Jace Borfin, who's at the plate now. In the bottom of the eighth, grounded right side, Wyatt Hoffman over to first, and it's an out recorded by Patterson. He's been solid out of the pen and given YD a good chance to rely on just two pitchers so far during this game. And Patterson, he looks much more sharp than his first outing against Orleans at home when he had 3 innings and 4 earned runs allowed with 3 hits. Today, he's gone 2 2/3 now, and that's a hit. Swung on right side. Chris Armstrong going to have extra bases to right field. Chase Luttrell gathers it in the right field corner, and it's Armstrong who runs into second with a double. Now 1 for 4 is Robinson as he gets aboard. Hitting .277 with 4 home runs this season. And Armstrong now aboard on second. Taylor Smith at the plate. He hit a home run in the second to initially give Falmouth a 1-0 lead. 2 meetings between Falmouth and YD, and both of them, Taylor Smith has hit a home run as he fouls it away to the right side on the pitch from Patterson, who has gone 2 2/3. Went 3 innings, which was his sole appearance for YD on the 18th. The first extra base hit, though, for Armstrong since July 16th. It was a home run then. Has 4 home runs this summer. Pitch up and in, but called for a strike. Nothing into the count. Patterson out of Pacific. Through 24 1/3 at Pacific this past season, and his high in innings recorded was 3 as well. Breaking ball, right side. Wyatt Hoffman stays down on it. Couple bounces over to him. Gathers it, throws over to Keegan at first, and there's 2 away. And now when we talk about that 3-inning mark, the most amount of innings that he has gone at Pacific, and now here with YD, yet just 1 appearance, he now has recorded 9 outs and has gone 3 complete innings, and trying to surpass that here if he can get Anthony Hall out, who's 1 for 3 today with a single his last time up in the 6th. But hitting here in the bottom of the 8th, Falmouth leading 2-0 with 2 outs. And Chris Armstrong on third base for Falmouth. First pitch, strike 1. The off-speed pitch is what Patterson got ahead with, who is giving some length after the watermark. Typically for the right-handers, just 3 innings. Pitch misses upstairs, and Hall, the cleanup hitter, or Hall rather, the left fielder, hitting right now. 2 home runs this summer, has a single in the 6th, but he has yet to record a multi-hit game for Falmouth as he swings through the offering from Patterson. But if he gets a hit here, could record his first. Coming into this game, he was 14 for 64, hitting .218. Had a solid year at Oregon. Grounded right side, Wyatt Hoffman backhands it over to first to Keegan, and another nifty play made over at second base by Wyatt Hoffman. And after 8, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on base in the frame, it's a 2-0 lead for Falmouth, and Wyatt Hoffman comes to the plate. 6, 7, and 8 due up for YD, and their final chance down by 2. They try to come back next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, and YD down 2-0 in the top of the ninth, and looking with General Manager Steve Fosher, and he showed us some of that championship bling from the championship in 2015. 6 championships under the direction of Scott Pickler for YD, and they'll need to gather some of that championship mojo here. It's now or never, top of the ninth. 2-0 is the deficit for YD, top of the ninth, and their last chance. It's Wyatt Hoffman, Crew Robinson, and Zach Liu, the scheduled hitters for YD here in the top of the ninth. Wyatt Hoffman has accounted for 2 of the 3 hits for the Red Sox. Here with Casey Hunt on the mound. Pitch called for strike 2. Hoffman, though, no stranger to playing hero ball against Falmouth, hit a go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 7th at Red Wilson Field, puts a jolt into this one towards center. Luke Boyers goes back and backpedals to make the play on the move. Wyatt Hoffman got a piece of it, drove it to center field, and forced Boyers to go back, but there's 1 out. So Casey Hunt, his name was called when he was sitting in the bullpen, and they wanted him to get the final 6 outs. He needs 2 more. He's gotten 4 of them, facing Crew Robinson. Pitch misses low and inside for ball 1. Gets away from Taylor Smith, the catcher, and Givram's over to the left side. A 1 ball, no strikes. Top of the ninth, 2-0 lead for Falmouth, with Casey Hunt on the mound, trying to work his 4th and 5th innings of the summer for Falmouth. He's yet to surrender a run. Limited sample size after coming from Mississippi State. Crew, no stranger to being a hero as well, has hit 2 home runs this season. They've both come in the 9th inning. 2 balls and a strike, 1 out. Top of the 9th, Crew Robinson at the plate. And the 2-1 pitch fouled away. The breaking ball. The Mississippi State right-handers, that's been a theme today for Falmouth. It started out with Mikey Tapper going 5 innings. And then Casey Hunt trying to record the final 2. Sandwich in there, Harrison, the righty from UCLA. Each of the arms today for Falmouth, they've just surrendered 1 hit apiece. 3 hits on the day for YD. Swing and a miss by Crew Robinson, and he goes down on the strikeout. Now there's 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Zach Liu to the plate, representing the final shot for YD. The Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox trailing 2-0, now down to their last chance. Zach Liu takes the first offering for a strike. Brewster, they won again tonight over Chatham. 3-1, that's who YD will see the next 2 days. The 0-1, Zach Liu fouls it off right side. Now YD down to their final strike. Katuitt topped Hyannis final after 6 innings. 6-1 the final score. Harwich leading 2-0 over Wareham. And the pitch to Zach Liu, swing and a miss. Zach Liu goes down on the strikeout, and Casey Hunt records the final 6 outs for Falmouth, and they top YD 2-0 in this one. A winner for Falmouth, and YD drops its 2nd consecutive game, awaiting 2 big contests coming up against the Whitecaps on Saturday and Sunday. The final in this one, though, a 2-0 win for Falmouth. YD limited to just 3 hits, and they get shut out for the first time this season in a loss, in just the 2nd time this season where YD has been shut out in a game. The offense over the last 2 games has just scored 1 run, and now we're on the postgame show, brought to you by Curry College and Devidime, and alongside Brad Klein. Brad, the offense, that has to be a talking point here in the postgame show. They've scored just 1 run over the past 2 games. What do you see from YD at the plate?
Well, you know, you factor in the 1 run from their last game, and it's almost hard to say, well, they've only scored 1 run over their past 2 games, just because that was such a stale game, and everyone knew that The pitching was not allowing the offense to stay in, so I'm isolating this one, and it's not good, right? Because if you're Jared Lyons and you're Zachary Patterson, you combine for 9 innings of 2-run ball. You expect to win the ball game, and that just didn't happen. So YD kicking themselves over a missed opportunity at a time in the season where they don't have many opportunities.
Just 11 games now left for the YD Red Sox in third place. But, Brad, speaking of opportunity, they'll be hosting the top team in the East Division tomorrow. Adam Meyer toes the rubber against Hunter Pattison, someone that YD has seen before. And so you're going to see that matchup coming up tomorrow. Adam Meyer getting the ball and YD with another opportunity against a team that is ahead of them in the standings. And with just 11 games left, it feels like each contest has heightened importance when you look at the schedule and when you look at the standings as well.
Well, you say heightened importance. I'm just going to go out and say it. They're must-win games at this point. That's the way it should feel like for YD, especially when you lose a game that's very attainable on the road in Falmouth. Now you're playing a team who, with a win, is really going to tighten the chokehold on you, and Brewster right now can clearly see their path to the postseason. That's something that YD can't say for themselves.
Yeah, Brewster in clear position in the East Division. YD will have something to say about that the next 2 games. They have a home and home with the Whitecaps. They'll have Adam Meyer, then Pat Gallagher. But a final here from Gov Fuller Field, a 2-0 win for Falmouth. YD limited to just 3 hits. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 o'clock, Red Wilson Field. For Brad Klein, I'm Will Connerly, and have a solid rest of your evening. So long from Gov Fuller Field.